George, thank you very much indeed. Here we are in East Yorkshire and Lincolnshire. Hope you had a good day. Thank you for joining us. Now, coming up on the programme tonight, homes destroyed by fire on the hottest day ever. Firefighters feel the heat after hundreds of call-outs. Well, as the weather cools, the question over climate change burns, and these environment campaigners chain themselves together inside a local bank this afternoon. We're going to be talking about this tonight. Is it time to do more to stop our world overheating? Do we need to act now to stop the climate change? You can get in touch on the subject of climate change. The email address is there. You have your say, or follow me on Twitter and tweet now. I look forward to hearing from you more in just a bit. Homes destroyed and livelihoods seriously affected after the hottest 48 hours ever in the UK. People are counting the cost of record temperatures, including our local fire services, who've been put under pressure like they've never known before. Hundreds of call-outs to fires in fields, near homes and inside properties, with one of the most devastating in Boston. Jessica Lane has this report.
The fire here started yesterday afternoon in this fourth-storey block of flats, but it burnt well into the night. Families were evacuated, most only with the clothes they were wearing. 14 were put up by a local hotel chain.
Yeah, I'm really sorry to hear what's happened.
I was sleeping, and then my mum and my dad came and woke me up and said, "There's a fire." And I was like, okay, because there wasn't like any smoke in our house or anything. But when I got to the stairs to actually like go outside, there was like a lot of smoke in the like building. We didn't actually think, oh, it was going to be this huge, because then we would carry out everything we have.
And in the bar, the fire is still a topic of conversation.
I saw to stop the smoke.
You started and you pointed out to me. So
yeah, I came over there, and then all of a sudden it just sort of engulfed up. To be fair, how busy the day was for like emergency services, people were there really quick.
And it was our way of just obviously helping and giving back to make sure that everyone was safe and had a roof above their heads for the night.
Today you can see just how much damage was done, and why those who are living here won't be able to come back for a while.
The building is not safe, certainly to re-enter. One of the examples there, we have some kit inside the building, but we won't be able to retrieve that because it's not safe to go in and fetch it. So we have to look at then the impact of that on neighbouring buildings as well.
Peter's friends live here.
Look, what is my room? Oh, your room. Fire. Nothing, the same, going.
The fire in Boston came at a difficult time. Both Lincolnshire and Humberside Fire and Rescue Services declared major incidents yesterday because they were just so busy.
It does happen from time to time. Wide area flooding is another good example. This area is prone to flooding, so we do get times occasionally when we get similar situations. But certainly for fires, you know, excessive heat, this was very much unprecedented.
The main cause for the incident has been because of the heat wave, and it has affected farmers' crops and grassland areas, which is more commonly known as wildfires.
A structural engineer is assessing the safety of the building right now to see what might happen next. I'm told one option is the whole thing will be demolished and rebuilt, but a final decision won't be made until later. Jessica Lane, BBC Look North in Boston.
Thank you, Jessica. Well, the heat, of course, has raised the issue again this week of climate change, and a group of climate change protesters have been arrested after chaining themselves up inside a Lincoln bank. They held up different signs highlighting their cause. The members of Extinction Rebellion claim that Barclays invests in fossil fuels, and the recent hot weather should be a wake-up call.
Not only 40 degrees C here, but the hottest temperatures ever recorded in most European countries, raging bushfires all over Europe, fires in London, houses burnt to the ground because of wild grass fires igniting houses. Hopefully now they'll start joining the dots and realising there's a connection.
That was Lincoln today. Well, Barclays have said previously that they have restrictions around the financing of oil and gas exploration and production in the Arctic region. Well, we've just seen some of the damage caused by the searing heat over the past couple of days. Professor Dan Parsons is a climate scientist at the University of Hull, and he's joining us now. Professor Parsons, good evening to you. Welcome to the programme. Still this week, people are writing to me saying it's just summer, stop pushing an agenda, having a go. Paul's had grief as well. In other words, those who don't believe in climate change. What do you say to them in a nutshell?
But look around you. It's happening in real time in Technicolor and Dolby surround sound. The evidence is staring us in the face, and you can feel it when you walk outside. These are the sorts of events that we've been predicting that will become more frequent and more intense, and we're just seeing that play out in real time in front of us.
Has the scale of the increases in degrees frightened even experts and the climate scientists? Because these are not increases of half a degree, are they?
That's right. These are really extreme temperatures, and they're beyond what we anticipated in terms of where we are today. We certainly knew that climate change would ramp up the extremes of weather we get in terms of big downpours, intense rain, and extreme heat waves like we've had over the past few days. But the intensity of those of this heat wave has gone beyond our predictions, and that's scary.
So the predictions which were made for 2050, are they almost here now?
That's right. That's right. I mean, we know that as we continue to warm the planet, as we continue to release fossil fuel generated CO2 and methane into the atmosphere, that the whole world is going to continue to warm up, and we're going to see more extreme weather like we've seen over the past few days. In many ways, what's scary is people talk about a new normal. It's not a new normal. It's going to continue to get worse until we really deal with the emissions of greenhouse gas emissions into our atmosphere.
So this business of, it's going to happen every 30 years, that's not the case anymore. It's going to happen more often than that.
That's right. Extremes become more frequent and more intense. So things that used to happen once every 100 years on average are happening much more frequent. It's essentially like loading the dice against ourselves, such that these occurrences will happen more and more frequently. And the big problem, of course, is our housing stock, our infrastructure, that our whole way of life and society has been built around a climate that no longer exists. The weather patterns we get as a result of the climate we're moving to are very different, and we can't cope with it in terms of the resilience we have.
And just very briefly, do you think what we've seen with the railways, the infrastructure, the fires, people's houses destroyed, is this going to be a real wake-up call for the government?
Well, I've thought it has been several times that there are wake-up calls every other week. We're just a year on from the terrible floods in Germany that killed hundreds of people from intense rainfall. These are the sorts of events that become more and more frequent, and I do wonder how many wake-up calls we need.
Professor Parsons, very good to have you on the programme tonight. Thank you very much indeed. Most grateful to you.
Thank you.